guys, it's Vicky. Today I thought I would do a cooking video. Never done a cooking video. But I am making tuna cakes for dinner. So, similar to a crab cake. We're just more poor and we like tuna. So, for my husband and I, because he loves food, I usually do 4 cans of tuna. I only use tuna in water. I don't use the oil. I use a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, Dijon mustard, onion, a little bit of mayo, and some parsley, which you can't see because it's still in the bag, and an egg. You can add whatever you want. Sometimes I add garlic paste. Sometimes I add cheese. Just depends. But this is what I'm going to be doing today. So let's get to it. Alrighty, the tuna is open. And this is just chunk light. I will buy albacore if it's on sale. But for these little tuna cakes, the chunk light works perfectly. And I drain my tuna at least a little bit, because when you're making the little lump cake, it definitely works better if the tuna's a little bit more dry. So I just put it all into my strainer. I will often let it sit, for maybe an hour or so, come back, stir it. So I will just push it through the strainer, try and get out as much liquid as possible, and then just let it dry. And we are back. The only other things, while my tuna is kind of still draining, the only other things that need to really be prepared are the onions, if you're going to put onions in yours, and then chopping up the parsley. So that also can be done ahead of time. So I'm just going to put this in the bowl. And I will chop up my parsley. All right, parsley has been washed, and we are back for some parsley chopping. How much parsley you put in? Totally, again, your call. This is a whole bunch of parsley. I'll probably use quite a bit of it. It kind of gives the parsley, or the tuna cake, some texture. And I really don't notice the taste of parsley too much. So that is probably chopped up fine enough for me. And I'm going to put it in a separate bowl. That way, once my tuna is drained, I can kind of add the parsley as I see fit and kind of feel like if it's enough. So if I dumped it all in with the onions, I would not be able to do that. So I'm just going to throw the parsley in here. Get as much as I can off the board. And wash my hands real quick. All right. And I'm going to let the tuna continue to dry maybe for an hour, and then we will be back to combine it all and put it together. Hey guys, I'm back. I've let my tuna drain. You don't want super dry tuna, so I've let it drain pretty well. I'm going to add this tuna to my onions. Just plop it on right in there. And I'll kind of stir that up a little bit, combine that. The next thing that I will put in is my cut up parsley. Like I say, I just kind of eyeball that and then combine it up into the tuna. The next thing I will do is add my eggie. So, and you want to beat the egg, of course. So I'm going to put that, I'm just using my parsley bowl. And I will just beat that up a little bit. And then that will go into the tuna. And then with the egg in there, just combine it up. And I'm making this ahead of time, so after this is all combined, I will cover it and put it in the refrigerator. and let it still sit, let the juices absorb. I also love pepper. Oh, this is a new one. So I'm very generous with my pepper. I never feel like you can have too much pepper. I mean, maybe you can, if you don't like it. Just combine that. And then a little bit of salt. I'd like to also add a little onion powder, even though there's onions in there. Well, is this a new one also? It is. Onion powder, garlic powder, and then combine that up. Mix that in real good. Smelling good already. Stuff's flying out of the bowl. Sign of good cooking. All right, and the last things that need to be done is the mayo. I just have Best Foods real mayo. And this is, I start slow because I don't want it to become tuna salad. So I just slowly combine. Because the next ingredient that has to go in is some Dijon mustard. Usually about a tablespoon of that as well. And then just mix that. And that is it. Hey guys, we are back and we're going to make our tuna cakes. So it's been in the refrigerator for a few hours. Just kind of chilling and doing its thing. And I'm gonna heat up some, sometimes I use butter, sometimes I use oil. So I'm gonna heat up a little oil in the pan. I will post this recipe. It was pretty basic. You could probably follow along in the video, but I'll post the recipe in the description in case you want to make them. And I strongly suggest you try them if you like tuna, because they're really good. All right, we're gonna let that oil heat up. While the oil's heating up, because I make these in small batches, probably about 4 in my pan, and this is a larger size frying pan. I heat the oven just to the keep warm setting, so about 150, 170. And then as they're done and they come out, I just put them in the oven to keep them warm until they're all finished. All right, so the oil's heated up fairly well. I use a little, this is a 1/3 cup scoop. You could use that or a 1/4 cup. I've lost my 1/4 cup, so I don't know where it's at. And I just fill these up. I'm gonna kind of pack it into the 1/3 cup. Pack it down. If it, you know, if there's too much juice, these seem pretty good. So it will look something like that. And then I just use a fork to kind of go around the edge so they come out a little easier. And then I just tap it into the pan, give it a little press, and let it do its thing. I have the heat set at medium. One thing when you're cooking with tuna, you have to be careful because as the tuna cooks and it dries, it wants to like pop and kind of spatter. So I found cooking them a little bit lower temperature is, for a little bit longer, is definitely better. Second one, just loosen it. They do take a while. I let them just do their thing. I always make sure I pack them nice and tight. That way when they do come out of this, it's like a mold, and they come out together. You may have a better way of doing it, but that's all I got. If you do have a better way, some kind of gadget or something, drop it in the comments. The reason I only do about 4 is they're just easier to flip, because you don't want the bottoms to get like, you know, so burnt. And so I find it's just easier to flip them. If there's only 4 in here. And there we go with those. Swirl that oil around a little bit and get them cooking. I'm just giving them a gentle press down. They're smelling really good. You can really get that Dijon mustard smell. I'm guessing if you don't like Dijon, you could use a different mustard. But if you like Dijon, then I definitely recommend it. So as you can probably see, let me pull the camera out here. As you can probably see, they're kind of coming apart a little bit, which is fine as you press down. I'm just going to let them keep cooking so that the bottom gets a nice crust on it. Easier to flip, and that's what you do. So I kind of wanted to show you this one right here. I just flipped it after, what was that, maybe 4.5, 5 minutes. And it's not quite done. So they just need more time. This isn't one of those things. I guess you could rush it. You could turn your heat up, but if you do that, you're probably going to end up with tuna flying everywhere. And trust me, nobody wants that. Well, maybe your cat does, but besides your cat, nobody wants that mess. All right, we are at about 6 minutes on one side, and I just flipped that one. That's a little bit more what you want it to look like. You got to cook it maybe another 6, 7 minutes on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and flip the other 2. Get you in the holder. There you go. I do find, for me anyway, it's easiest if I flip using this little silicone spatula and a fork. I just kind of push it up onto the spatula and then let it flip. Nice and golden brown, that is. Wish me luck on this one, because I think it was the last one I put in. You know, sometimes they come out great. Sometimes my husband eats them and they've fallen apart. But they still taste the same. That's all that matters. There we go. And that will all hold together once the bottom side crisps. I'm probably not flipping this one yet. You can kind of see at the bottom when they're ready. So I doubt I'm going to flip that one yet. So I'm going to let those 3 go for about another 6 minutes. And by that point, they should be ready to go into the oven just to stay warm. And I will make more. So this is 4 cans of tuna. I'll probably get between 10 and 12 tuna cakes out of that. I mean, they're small, right? That's like this. They're not, I don't know how big that is. Maybe 3 inches by 3 inches. They're not huge. I guess you can make them bigger, just like you can make small pancakes or big pancakes. But I think you'd have a really hard time flipping them if they were bigger, and you wouldn't have that depth to them. So we're just going to continue to let these guys cook. All right, we'll be back in about 6 minutes. All right, we are back, and it has been 6 minutes. So I'm going to flip this guy. When they're really nice and golden on the bottom, they flip super easy. Sometimes, though, I'm too hungry, right? Make it go a little faster. And I'm going to leave that one just a second yet. And then these 4 are going to go right into the oven. I can assure you, you can't smell it, but it smells so good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and transfer these to the oven. Okay, well, that was pretty much it. Tuna cakes. What do I serve these with? Really depends what my husband wants. I eat them usually just with some salad on the side. My husband, mashed potatoes, some kind of French fry, couscous, quinoa, anything along those lines. If you've made these before, what do you serve yours with? I'd be curious to know. And see, like that one fell apart, but not a big deal. You just stick her back together. Because as that bottom browns, it'll all stick. All right. Thanks for watching. Leave me some feedback and have a great day, guys. Keep spreading those positive vibes, and I'll talk to you later.